Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Smith, and I'm here for the Great Business Stories of St. Louis. And today I got Jeff and Rachel Miner. Tell us about your business.
Sure. Well, thanks for having us on, Dr. Mike. So my name is Jeff Miner, and we are co-founders of a business called ReveelData.
Mhm.
Really, what we do is we provide high-level reporting and insights to digital marketing agencies. And we
Mhm.
basically give them a macro view all the way across their entire agency, all their clients, and then you can drill down all the way to the ad level to get your insights and actionable data. Um, and that's really what we do. Just a little bit about me. So I've been probably in IT for the past 20 plus years and really scaling e-commerce companies for the past 15. And when
Okay.
I exited my last one, I was kind of getting in this role where I would come on board, help them scale to a point where they could sell, and then exit and have to go find another job. And the last time this happened, I just felt like I was tired of being, having my destiny tied to other people. And I had this idea for this tool, and I had a relationship with a digital marketing agency owner, and
Mhm.
started building this about 2 years ago, January of 2023 is really when I
Okay.
started. And then I'll let Rachel talk about her. Oh,
I actually joined Jeff full time this past March, really taking on the operations side and the foundations. So my background really is in the operations and the technology side and data analysis. So I really compliment Jeff in his tech side with what I've done in my past.
Well, great. Thank you for explaining a little bit about why you started this. And what they talk about in E-Myth is there's an entrepreneurial seizure that everybody has, and that says that I can go work for somebody, I can go work I can go work for myself for 80 hours a week versus work for someone for 40, right? And it sounds like the
Absolutely.
business that you were in earlier, you probably worked that many hours for helping companies scale and grow really
right.
quickly. So thanks for sharing that startup story. So as you go through, tell us exactly, a little bit more in detail how you do that with digital agencies, because the digital marketing is kind of esoteric to a lot of people that are out there. They're trying to really understand it. Is it just social media? What is it? So tell us about how you use the data and tell us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of your business.
Sure. So I think the key is with digital marketing agencies, we really focus on small growing ones that maybe have kind of plateaued a little bit, and they're looking to kind of hit that barrier to growing.
Mhm.
And really what we found is the key is that we can get data straight out of the, whether it be the ad network, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever. So it's a mix of social media and paid like search engines and whatnot. But what the missing key for them, especially if they're focused in specific niches, is really knowing how that data all ties back to, say, the CRMs that their customers are working off of, or the shopping, the e-commerce platforms. And so we have connections built to several different platforms. We're pulling all that data in, and then we can basically, if we have access to it, we can build metrics um, that we can track and alert the agencies, the media buyers, or really just anybody at the agency, their CSMs and whatnot, to trends as they're happening, as opposed to being more reactive. They can kind of jump on stuff, very quickly. And I think that's really keeping able to stitch all this disparate data together to give true like customer life cycle stages. What is the cost, not just per lead, but say to actually fully acquire a customer, cost per book appointment, all of that data we have the ability to stitch together and present in, roll it all the way up to the agency level, and then as I said, you can drill down your clients down to the ad level. um, and so that's kind of where we're at now. What we're working on is my main focus. So I guess I should have covered. I am I've been focused on the IT side for years, but really I'm the main developer of this program. So really the only
Okay.
developer. But we're focusing on an AI component. So AI is the hot buzzword, but we have
Right.
all this data we're pulling in, and the key is to when you're working with some of our clients, we're trying to stitch together this data to feed into some LLMs to get back some, instead of being super reactive, to try to predict what creative is going to work sooner than say letting it run for 2 or 3 weeks or whatnot to see what it's doing. So the goal there is working with them to try to anticipate, which then gives them an edge. If they can decipher what's going to work faster, they can scale it across all their clients. So that's kind of the big thing we're working on now, and we're really excited to pursue that. So
What I heard was you help agencies go from reactive, where they're looking at something a week later, to proactive, or seeing real-time trends, to predictive, where you can actually use AI to predict some of the ad work, et cetera. That's great. That's great.
yes.
So tell us about your startup. You went and you started up, and tell us about the first few months till you got to your first big customer, and how that's gone so far. Because everybody wants to know those stories. Those are the best ones.
Sure.
Yes.
It was really actually kind of a nerve-wracking time because, as I said, I had exited my last role, and we had savings, but
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
only had a little bit of runway. So really, it was kind of happenstance that I met. So through the former CMO of my last company, I met this agency owner. It was just kind of a struck up a relationship, and he was having an issue with his um, his analytics and getting good insights. And basically, I was kind of looking for something to do to just generate some income, and started looking at that. And then as I dove into it, I just realized, as I analyzed the market, there's tools out there, but the problem is they're either kind of out of the box, large. You need an IT resource dedicated to get it up and running, and those are more affordable. Or you have these really high dollar solutions that are several $1,000s per month. And so for a small struggling agency that's trying to grow, you're either devoting human resources or a lot of money for the solution. And I think I kind of felt there was a niche there that we could fit into, where we make an all-purpose solution that doesn't require an IT resource, but it doesn't break the bank either. And I think that's really where kind of what I started looking at. And I mean, it really took me about I'd say 3 months to get a version up, like an MVP up and going, that then we could start collecting some revenue. And once we got that, we basically started building from there. He was our first massive, and still with us, client, and
Mhm.
because he's grown quite a bit. Lead Juice is the name of the agency, and they have grown quite a bit, and so they've added on functionality, and so basically, our revenue grew with them, and then really by word of mouth. So far, we had other, people saw the product and came asking, and that's kind of how we've grown so far, very organically. But now we're
Mhm.
trying
Mhm.
to actually go out and acquire customers by just really
Prospecting.
prospecting and sales. And yeah, and Rachel, that's more her specialty.
Yeah, Rachel, tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Sure. So really at this point, I'm focused on our LinkedIn account. So
Mhm.
really it's cold calling, doing the messaging to potential clients. Really, the goal is to gain our connections and build our network. And really at this point, I mean, it's going fairly well. Obviously some days are struggles and some days, are better than
Right.
others, but really kind of going out there and trying to get us as known as possible. It's hard, being a small business and being like,
Mhm.
you want the world to know who you are, and
Yeah.
and they don't, so you have to kind of boast yourself and really put yourself out there. I think that was probably one of the hardest things that I did, is starting to post every day
Okay.
and saying, here I am, look at me. But yeah, that's really where I am.
Great. So you talked about you have a platform. I'm sure it's some kind of app or something that you created there. Um, you've talked a little bit about what makes your business special. That without an agency, taking a lot of time to spend, spending admins or analysts, doing all this work, et cetera, or IT person. Um, Tell me about how your app is easily able to be transferable and used in different agencies. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I think the big key, because when we started out, we really started out with a focused set of
Mm.
integrations to obviously the ad networks, but then specific CRM. And then I realized we were going to need to be able to truly scale. We were going to need to be able to have as many connectors or connections, API connections really is what they are,
Mhm.
as possible, so we can pull data for basically service any agency. And so really
Okay.
that's what for the past 2 years I've just been building those connections based on just my history in the e-commerce side, and then working with our initial set of customers. I kind of, we have probably 15 out of the box dashboards or reports that, some are focused more towards, say, e-commerce, and then there's others that are
Mhm.
focused more towards, agency focused on a niche, say like, doctor's
Mhm.
offices or whatnot. And based on that, we kind of have I guess a blueprint or template for when we're approaching an agency. Here's how we could service you, but we're still in the process of, we can, you know, we're willing to basically customize to the agency's needs. And really we can turn that around pretty quickly. So it's one of those things. We're a full service product, so we're an extension of your team. So as
Mhm.
we're on the onboarding process, we can onboard somebody. It does take a couple weeks to get everything up and running, and there's a lot of back and forth to make sure we're in alignment on how it looks. Then during that process, if they come up with a new type of report they want, or even once we've launched, if they have something they need added, all they have to do is contact us, and we can usually turn that around in a pretty quick time frame. And that's, one thing. AI has been great for with that as well. I'm a
Right.
developer, but can work a lot faster with some of the AI tools they have out there now. And so really, I
Right.
who's utilizing that. I mean, you have to be careful. You have to obviously vet the code that it's helping produce and make sure it works and
Exactly.
whatnot. But it makes me so much. Particularly, I've been able to keep a team of me as a developer, and I feel like I can do the work of not 10 people, but probably 5 developers, just with the tools that are out there that you can utilize. And I think that's been key differentiator for how we've been able to stay really just the founders, but be able to grow the product.
And also to give you an example, so we have worked with an insurance company that wanted different metrics and different KPIs. So we were actually able to pool the data for them and make it into a different dashboard for them. So we're customizable, but
Right.
data is the data. As long as we have it, we can showcase it.
Right.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good. So those you segued into one of the questions I was going to ask you. That was about AI. So where do you see AI? It's hard to predict because there's new AI tools coming out, it seems like every week. Where do you see AI going in your experience and prediction?
Right. I mean, just my goodness, it's been really 2 years, I feel like, since ChatGPT really hit big. And I'm shocked because when it first came out, I jumped on board. I was like, oh, I gotta, and it helped with some stuff, but the quality of
Yeah.
what it was putting out, it wasn't great. I mean, I was like, oh, they're never gonna be able to replace
Mhm.
a true developer. And now, I mean, the newest version, that O3 Mini or whatever, really from a code perspective, it is strong. It can produce some good. I mean, there's still issues. As I said, you have to vet it. So I mean, it's hard to tell where it's going, but I kind of feel like, yeah, it's never going to be able to take and replace um the type of developer who's coming up with the ideas, and basically figuring, there's that creative aspect to software development, of how to structure everything, and really how to make kind of the meat and potatoes of what's going on. I don't think it's ever going to be
Right.
able to do that. But man, if it can do the work of actually producing, um, you know, a lot of the code itself, and then yeah, you have to go through and vet it. But even with if you feed it the right information, it can come up with the tests that you need to run against it too. So I just feel like it's going to allow a lot of either people who are focused in specific areas to maybe develop a product without really having a true, very experienced tech resource, or allow
Hmm.
tech resources to focus and be able to stand up a product without a lot of backing financially, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and thank you for sharing that. So I think about it as when I talk to my clients, when you have a process, there's a creator, a reviewer, and then an approver, right? So just like an invoice or a proposal or anything else. And most people don't like creating, right? They like reviewing and saying, why don't you do this? Why don't you add that? Why don't you do the following? So I look at it in, from my academic background and where I come from and transformations I've done in the past is it's easy for me to tell something to do something, get it good enough, satisfying, right? And then it brings it back and I go, okay, correct the following, like as a programmer, you go, correct the following things, you test it. So it's easier to use your intellectual capacity in making something better rather than sit there and coding, X, ones and O's, right? Because
Right.
I don't know anybody that says, well, I really love doing that. It's a lot better if someone does the typing and then you're able to work with it. So I think AI is going to open the eyes. I think, in my prediction, we do a lot of studying of it with some of the mastermind coach groups that I'm on. And we have a spreadsheet of over 50 different AI tools, and a lot of them do different things. So you can't really just go to one that does everything. So well, I think there's going to become, my opinion is there's going to become the this is my opinion only, the industrialization of the AI tools where companies take them and make them and use them and they know how to use them the correct way. Because you can start to see the 7-day free trials are now no day free trials for $20 a month. So some are moving to $200 a month, right? So they're starting
Right.
to kick out Copilot wants to start charging, all these things, right? So I think that they're going to start kicking that out, and then the people who are really good at it are going to buy the industrial packages, and they're going to go use them and create really cool stuff and probably bring the cost down of some of that to be more affordable to a lot of small businesses. I have small business clients. They're not going to go spend 12 hours how to learn Canva, right?
Right.
So I'm able to have them, work with my VAs to get them a couple things out and going. And when I've talked to my virtual assistants about AI, I'm like, look at the things we can do to make things better for our clients. And we can actually add more value because when you're a small business, coach, it's a little different than being a business or executive coach because they have a small resource of people like yourself. There's two of you, right? So it's going to be
Right.
you or Rachel doing it. And if you're able to go in and have something, being the creator of things where you're doing the reviewing and then the approving, life becomes a lot more satisfying and it becomes a lot more effective, for you. There's a lot of noise out there and trash, and there's things you can go in and hook up to your LinkedIn and they auto do all this stuff, and LinkedIn goes in and sifts them out and kicks them out, so there's all those, low cost alternatives that are going to happen, but I think it's going to take operators who know how to. Would you rather go as a high school senior? Would you rather go to college and spend $20,000 to $50,000 on education to learn how to program, ones and zeros, or learn how to actually work with AI to actually maximize, write the scripts and write the prompts and things. So, the world's
Exactly.
changing, and I don't see them, actually, putting in outlets in our houses or fixing our plumbing or doing any of those things. But I do
Right.
think AI can bring us to a better quality of life. And actually, with the low unemployment rate of some of the jobs that are out there, really clerical, putting things in, et cetera, I see a big wave of that coming and helping. So I spent enormous hours studying all the AI and doing a lot of that to help my clients out because it's always savings to them. I was in a presentation in the executive group that I was in about 3 weeks ago. They said AI saves the average person using it today 11 minutes. And that will get better, obviously, because you've got super users like yourselves. And then you've got
Yeah.
novice users who go, oh, cool, it opens my email for me, right? So there'll start to be more and more around that. So it's glad that you're adopting that and staying small and agile like yourselves.
Yes.
So when you look at building your business and looking, and Rachel's got the hard job of cold calling and all that, what are some of the methods that you're using today to go out? I mean, you're working for marketing firms, right? So what are you doing from a marketing standpoint, and what's your strategy there, Rachel? How are you doing that?
So with working with marketing firms, obviously they have their own set of sales. So they want to typically, push their services on me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
really it's taking it back, like a step back and
yeah,
being like, no, 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 this is what I'm trying to help you with.
yeah,
And and
yeah,
um and really saying that, okay, if you have 20 customers or more, this is what we can do for you. And what are you using today? Because, there's some competitors that I didn't even know about until I started reaching out and working and understanding, the whole full environment of what we're dealing with. So, really at this point, we're not wanting to do paid per marketing services. We're wanting to bootstrap, our company.
Yeah.
I I really just kind of have to turn the conversation around.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, so, one of the things I think really this was a large realization for us. My background in focused on e-commerce was, yes, it was all the marketing. The sales really were, I mean, e-commerce, the sale takes place on the website. It's kind of
Right.
there's no dedicated sales or SDR or anything.
Mhm.
And I think that was a big mindset that we had to change, because initially we were just going to throw up, and we started to kind of just throw up some campaigns and highlight our product, drive leads to our, prospects to our website, have them fill out a form and go that way. And then we were just starting to, in essence, just burn money, because we didn't realize this product requires relationship building, because you really have to find out what their needs are and
Mhm.
how we're going to help them. And so we kind of sidelined for now the paid marketing. We're focused on this
Of course.
process, and then I think the goal is, once we understand how to do it, I really feel like, I think Rachel will probably agree with me, that our main investment in human resources is probably going to be on the SDR side. We're going to bring in, because
All right.
she doesn't like sales. I definitely don't like sales. So that's going to be an area we're going to, once we understand it and can do it, we'll
Right.
bring in, a team to do that.
But we have to understand it
Right,
first.
right,
So, like, I want to be able to give them, hey, this is the process that's worked for me. You can reiterate it however you want to, but give them success to start off with. I don't want someone to come in that's an expert and then burn out because they don't know how to sell our product. I want to be able to help them.
No,
you
no,
know,
I fully agree. I think you're going exactly the right strategy, which is the exact same thing I would do. There's it's a complicated, it's a complicated product, and it's a niche product, meaning that you don't have a gazillion customers, you have X customers because they're
Right.
agencies. And so the better off you are about going and hanging out with those tribes, the better off that you are being able to do it, and then
right.
being able to find their pain points. So nothing is your strategies. It's all great. So when you think about where you want to be a year from now, what's your plans for the next year? What's your growth plans? What's your ultimate goals?
Sure. Well, I think, we want to, I think the big key is the AI component. Once we have that, I feel like that's going to set us apart from our direct competitors, because there's just
Mhm.
nothing like that out there. And
Mhm.
so our goal from a growth perspective is to initially get this process up and running, and release this recommendation product, or this AI portion of the product. And then we would love, I mean, our plan this year is to probably, I don't want to say, we're hoping for 10x growth in the number of clients we have. I don't
Yeah,
know if that's
yeah. I mean, when
realistic
you're
or not,
small,
but we just kind of set it
when you're
up.
small, when you're small, you can do that. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Yes, that's great.
right. And then once that happens, then we kind of feel like, okay, once we have the sales process down, then the paid marketing is going to become a big key. And so I think that's when we'll look at getting into, because at that point, we're going to need a better source of leads than just going through LinkedIn and trying to manually go out to,
No, I got you. I got
to
you.
people.
Yeah,
So
you're doing all the right things. There's no reason not to be proud of everything you've done. It's great. And so I can ask the big question everybody's going to ask. So you two are married, right? Got the same last name.
yes.
So how does it feel? How does it feel working and being together 24/7 like that? Tell us a little bit how you. I'll let you both. One of you can close your ears if one wants to talk, the other one wants to talk. It's fine. But
I would say I want
Rachel.
to start.
We'll ask
Rachel,
Rachel first because she's the one who voluntarily joined.
yes.
Jeff just kind of pulled the plug and said, "I'm doing it." So Rachel's like, "Okay." So you voluntarily joined later on, Rachel. So we'll let you start.
Absolutely. So we've been married for almost 20 years.
Okay.
And we actually met at work
Right.
in
Mhm.
training back when we were in customer service for SBC Communications.
Okay.
So
That's a flash in the past. Yeah. Mhm.
it is, now AT&T.
Yeah.
We met, had our first date, and the rest is history.
Right.
Really,
Right.
I think us working together initially kind of helped drive us wanting to continue to work together. So we actually split our paths, and obviously he went on the IT side, and then I went into customer service or supply chain side. And
Yeah.
and so we've been wanting to do this forever.
Really, yeah.
Great.
And if I could spend every day with Jeff, I would.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
and I think that I hope he feels the same, but um but we enjoy each other's company. And I don't think that every person that we know could do this with their significant other.
Right.
Great.
We're a special kind of couple, I think.
I agree.
Great.
One thing that hit, so we have four daughters, ranging in age 17 to 11.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think, yes, and so, and we work from home. And so I think like today's a snow day because of we're
Yeah.
filming this on the day when we got all the snow. And
Yeah.
so it's challenging at times to, as far as the household, making sure that when we're conducting meetings that we have a quiet environment to work with and whatnot. But as far as working together, I love it. I think the big key for us though is to make sure, yes, 80 hours a week. I was working 80 hours a week for other people.
I hated it.
I think I try to balance it out at
Um,
50 to 60 hours now.
Yeah. No, I understand.
And putting those boundaries there that when we're not working, we're not working, try
Yeah.
to have some separation. It's not always possible, but that burnout is real. And I think that has helped me really continue to enjoy, not dread having to come into work every day, which is really just walk in the office. But is I still have a passion for what I do because I feel like when we take time throughout the day to, even if it's just going out and going for a walk,
yes.
get out of the office and kind of shut down that aspect of things.
And once
This is a
the
great one.
snow is
This is a great
over,
one.
go out.
Yeah.
Have
This is a great
steps.
interview because you're the first couple I've interviewed the same, at the same. That's great. So I think it's a great one. It's going to get
Awesome.
a lot of mileage. So as we're starting to wrap up, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So one, I'm in all the networking groups. I'm in the ACA club. I'm in BNI. I'm in Network 9. I'm in all those different groups.
Nice.
And so tell us who your ideal customer is, and then I'm going to ask you who your ideal referral partner is, so that way you can think through that. So tell me, everybody listening out there that's going to listen to this video and watch it, who's your ideal customer?
Sure. Do you want to go? Okay. So I'd say our ideal customer is, a C-level executive or owner or owner of a digital marketing agency, a
Mhm.
small one with maybe 10 to 50 employees, at least 50 clients. Well, I guess we could probably do 20 plus clients who's kind of hit that, I guess, revenue 1 to 5 million and is kind of struggling to grow. So that's kind of our sweet spot that we've identified as like our ACP. And then far as referral partner, I would think anybody who has, we actually have a couple, some of these referrals have come from, consultants that we're working with. Our first referral, basically our second referral, I'm sorry, second referral was a consultant that was working with our first client who saw the product, and he was working with another client who thought, oh, they were having a real issue identifying what was working, what wasn't in their ad spend. And that's how we got the referral, was through him. He reached out to me and said, hey, is this something that you'd be interested in? So, the people who are working with those owners to try to help them grow, I think that would be, ideal partners to
Yeah, I was just going to mention too, our latest referral actually was from a person that I networked with on LinkedIn that is a board of directors
yeah.
for an agency. And he said, really wanted to talk to you because I thought your product was awesome, but I wanted to learn more about it before I promote it. So that was really cool that he actually sought me out. Um, so you never know where your
Right.
referrals are going to come from. It's just it's amazing when you start networking with people.
Great. Well, as we wrap up the final reel here, tell us about your company again, give us your elevator pitch, and then tell us how someone can get a hold of you.
Sure. So ReveelData is our company. Basically, we help digital marketing agencies that are struggling to scale, identify in their ad spend what is working and what isn't. We offer you the macro view from the overall agency level, and you can drill all the way down to client specific ads to see how they're performing. And really, we connect all your customer lifecycle data into that information, not just what's coming from the ad networks.
Great. Thank you very much for joining the great. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rachel.
Well, I was just going to say how you can get a hold of us.
Yeah, please,
Um,
Rachel.
You can always go to our website. It's REV as in Victor, EEL.com. And data.com. Sorry, I apologize. You can edit that out. But it's revealdata.com. It's not spelt as reveal, it's REVEEL DATA.com. And fill out a form on our website, and we'd be happy to connect with you.
Look us up on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you both today for being on the Great Business Stories of St. Louis, and we look forward to getting this published right away.
Thanks, Dr. Mike. Appreciate the time.